Well. This is...
the best episode Ncuti has ever starred in.
I think I do agree with that, even though I only really enjoy about 26 minutes. I like literally the first half, and I think then they start doing very dumb things, but I really enjoyed most of it, and this is, I agree, still his best episode. It is the most Doctor Who episode.
Most engaged I've been with a Ncuti adventure. Not because of him, sorry Ncuti.
He still gets to do more than he usually does, though.
Me and Sarah have almost like a game of like, we put Doctor Who on and it's like, see how long it is before a phone comes out or before you barely are listening. And Sarah will lose interest in Doctor Who quickly of late. But 10-15 minutes in, around the time when they're looking, like, what happened there? How did everyone die? And they go in, we're like, no, I'm engaged. Then we're going, yeah, Doctor hasn't done just a good fucking mystery in a minute.
We have a mystery, there's a setup, there's tension, and it does some irrelevant stuff later on, but the start is all, I don't think I have any problems with the start at all, but apart from a nitpick where it's like, why are they wearing the same suits that everyone else is?
Oh, right, yeah.
It could be like the Doctor knew that in the year 500,000, this was the main suit they should wear in this part of the galaxy. Maybe. Convenient. Then they also undress them later on, like they take off their pads so that they look a little different. So there was no real point, but
I do just like my Doctor in a main outfit. He becomes just a guy if he's just in clothes.
I missed the old orange suit. I think my main problems with this one stem from it being a midnight successor sequel, because it's not really.
At first, yeah, like you get caught up in it. So when it's revealed that, it's Midnight from season 4, 2008, you get excited. You're like, oh, nice. You see David's face. And you're like, oh. But then you go, well, hang on a minute. What does that do, actually? Like, it's not a bad thing that it's Midnight, but then also it doesn't add anything either.
I think it is a bad thing because they spend the whole time, the Doctor saying, oh, I already know who this villain is. Oh, I already know that they're this. Oh, I've been here before. Instead of bothering to develop it this time. It really is a, hey, remember?
Because it's one writer and Russell, so I guess you could theorise him. No, it probably isn't.
I'm 90% sure.
Russell took a pass and made it Midnight.
Sharma Wolfel made a Mexican standoff episode where it's a bunch of people not sure, all pointing guns at each other.
Sounds fun.
And then Russell came in and was like, yes, but what if my episode that everybody loved, because I talked about Blink last episode, I'm going to remind people that I wrote good.
It's a shame because it didn't work that way.
I mean, it's been 400,000 years. It could have evolved, but why not just do the same thing it did last time?
Like, how crazy would it have been then it's like it starts repeating and the Doctor's like, oh, fuck.
It follows the tradition of Flesh and Stone and a couple of others where it's basically like, hey, we had the Weeping Angels and they were like a standalone monster in a spooky episode. This time we're going to send in a bunch of Marines and it's like, it's aliens because you had your spooky monster, the alien, aliens. But we're going to send in a bunch of Marines. We had our spooky monster of the Midnight Monster.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of Marines come in to try to kill it. We only really get to know 4 of the Marines. 3 of them have personalities. One of them is definitely Grunt, and the rest are cannon fodder.
I thought it was pretty weak when the head who mentions how she was raised in a hellfire situation, and then when she's running, we have a flashback of her running. I'm like, we're not that close, babes.
It's inappropriate for you to call her babes.
Okay, hun. There you go. Sorry.
We did it. Not even on purpose. But yes, they did that because remember Waters of Mars, the other one that Russell T Davies wrote, where they mined something up from the planet and then everyone went crazy and some of them changed into things. And then at the end, the captain of the vessel committed seppuku because they had to save the day. So they're my main problems with the episode, is that it did feel a lot like he's pulling from his previous work and just kind of redoing it. And I guess piling it on top of Sharma Welfel's work, because there's a thing on my back was turn left. So we've had why is everybody looking at my back?
Yes.
But now the thing behind you is weird. So he's already toyed with the premise of when you think you see something behind someone or seeing something out of the corner of your eye. We've done that.
Yeah.
And I think this episode doesn't take full advantage of its premise. And I think up until the 26-minute mark, I really enjoy what we've been doing. We're building tension. We're having fantastic Alice. I think Alice was fantastic in this.
Yes. And it's not just deaf for the reason. It's that she's deaf because she's alive because she's deaf, right?
But why?
Because she can't hear.
That's what annoyed me. I love her as a character. I have no problem with her being deaf.
Great performance.
She's really good. And then when they explained that that's why she's alive, because she's deaf, I was like, oh. And then I was like, oh. That doesn't make any sense. She should have just been deaf without a reason, because explain to me why she survived.
Yeah, because it's about if you kill them, you get it.
Yes.
So that's what happened.
They explain it as you can't hear the whispering, that's why you're alive.
Oh, right,
But the whispering does nothing.
Yeah, it was them thinking, but then the whispering was turning them crazy? Or?
No, they were going crazy because they thought they were seeing something behind their friends. I was really happy with something they had done. Like, Alice was fantastic, and I loved everything there. The Get Me Home was mirroring Belinda, and it's like the doctor has to kind of prove to Belinda that he can get someone home. I don't think they went into that enough, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because, like, Belinda doesn't go, I don't know, even one line. I needed them to kind of reference that it is the same as Belinda.
Yeah.
Or the doctor to have a look in his eye that's like, I'm going to get you home to prove to Belinda that I can get home. Because Belinda has just had a rant about how you probably can't get me home. And then he says, I can, I will, I promise. So that would have been good if it was like, I got Alice home, I'll get you home. Because they think everything's hunky-dory.
Yes.
But yeah, them making it so that she might be alive because she's deaf, I was like, that doesn't make any sense with what you've shown me. So maybe in an original draft, the whispering in your ear over your shoulder made you do stuff, whereas it doesn't. I think I just saw a subscribe button behind you.
Yeah.
They do a few interesting rep things. I like some of it and I don't like some of it. When Belinda goes to help her, she says, a nurse that can't sign, that should be illegal. And then Belinda goes, oh, you're right, that should be illegal. And for a second I was like, oh yeah, it'd be handy if they could sign. And then I thought, wait a minute, there are a lot of people that don't speak English in England.
Not sure I agree with that one because, I mean, it's a trickle-down line to an educator then. Like, all teachers should be signing then. So you're going to make
Not even signing though, but like if Belinda can't look after people that are deaf that come into her workplace, she can no longer help people that are Asian, because like a lot of first generation Asians don't speak English.
Once again, it's an example of Russell overdoing it a bit. Like, oh, from now on, Davros will be walking. We have not seen Davros. We probably never will see Davros during this run. And likely when someone of our generation comes back and does it in 5-10 years, he's back in the fucking chair.
Yep.
Like, and it's like it never happened.
Especially because he did it to himself. It's like it's a horrific thing. That's the whole. Anyway.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the subtitle things. Like, they were fun. And I liked the way they selectively showed Alice some things and didn't show Alice other things. Oh, her line of "Don't turn your back on me." I was like, ooh.
Perfect.
But that's they need to do more of that. Where like, again, in shows where people speak different languages, I always find it really interesting where they use their different language to communicate with each other.
Yeah.
And then everyone's kind of like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
Like, because it's true, even nowadays. People are always like, what was my taxi driver talking about on the phone? Like, people are weird. Whereas saying it's... I've never thought in my life, what are those deaf people plotting? Where apparently Russell has, because he has the line where Ncuti says, even 500,000 years later, the signing still makes some people nervous.
Yeah.
Never in my life have I thought a deaf person was plotting behind my back.
Never. Is it meant to be because it's people feel like, oh, there's a conversation being had that I don't understand?
Which definitely works for like people of other nationalities that people already don't like.
Yeah.
They use that as another excuse.
Yes.
But saying it's about deaf people is the funniest thing ever.
It's nice, and it's not that big of a deal. And she was the best performance of the
easily
episode.
The best.
And so, yeah, can't be mad at it.
The looking around and everything was quite good. Like, we got the mysterious setup. We got to find out different little bits of information. Annoyingly, they said, the mirrors are broken. You're right, the mirrors are broken. And it wasn't like they stepped on the mirrors and like... I feel like in past Doctor Who episodes, we've had moments like that where there was, I don't know, water on the floor or something, and it's there, and you don't realize it, and the Doctor kind of spends the whole episode noticing it over and over, but it doesn't stick, and then later on he's like, God damn it, the mirrors were broken.
He seems to be struggling this time with the Doctor being...
The Doctor?
Clever in a cool way, because she's got Belle, who is a nurse. And obviously, it's hard when you're writing the Doctor, because the Doctor is as clever as anyone could possibly be, has an impossible level of real lived-in experience. So there's moments when he doesn't realise her arm is broken, but Nurse Belle from a while goes, isn't her arm broken? Like she notices she's cradling the arm, or she's hurt her arm. And I'm there going, no, you have to give Belle something to do. But they're going like, the Doctor is like Superman Sherlock Holmes. Like, he sees a person and with Peter Capaldi, they did stuff like that where he was not so. I mean, it's different doctors, so it's different flavors. But Peter's doctor was like, I don't have time to engage with you on a personal level. I have to fix the problem to save you. So if that means I have to be a bit short and a bit shitty, then it's worth it in the end. And David's one did that sometimes, and everyone kind of had that sometimes.
But this is the best friend doctor.
This is the best friend doctor who wants to hold everyone's hand, says he loves them, cries all the time. And like, I know it's daft because you're going, oh, you obviously struggle with men crying. No, I struggle with someone crying every episode.
It actually would have been used the best this episode, because in Robot Revolution, he cried because his friend of 6 months died.
Who we didn't know.
But yes, we didn't know them. I get that. So I don't love that he cried. And also then he like kissed a little Roomba and was like, so like that was all a bit too much. Episode 2, he cries because the magical and made up people
who he met for like 2 minutes
have to die. Whereas at least this one, it was kind of like he couldn't see any way of saving her at that point in time. So it's like, I get that. That's when you can let the doctor cry. Crying over death is a rough one, whereas like when he can't save someone.
Yeah, I think that's it. For me, it's, you know, the doctor when you see him. And I guess when you've got this guy who's in the same suit everyone else is wearing, I just don't get that sense of authority from him.
Well, he's also not being as observant, I think, because the mirrors were pointed out by Belinda. The doctor didn't really notice anything this episode, apart from the end where he's like, Mercury. But up until that point, everything was kind of pointed out for him. Even with the what year are we in, he had to look at a screen and say the year 500,000.
Yeah.
Whereas like, I don't know, previous doctors would lick the air or something. I don't know. There is a source there that I think is missing.
I really liked it. I think the best bits I liked was obviously you're expecting Alice to go bad, that she's secretly infected, that she's going to be, but actually Alice is just, she's someone in a very stressful situation.
Maybe. There is an Alice is dead theory.
Like the whole time Alice is dead.
That the creature reanimated her. I think it's a stupid theory. I think people are reaching for something that doesn't exist. Again, Russell is not a subtle writer. If she was dead the whole time, you would know. Reasons they think that her wound hasn't healed after 2 weeks. But also it's a graze full of dirt, and if she didn't clean it herself, / she's panicking in the middle of a room.
Yeah.
Or we also don't know that happened 2 weeks ago. She just says, I was running and she fell.
Yeah,
people saying, oh, she stayed in that room for 2 weeks. I guess we also don't know whether she was in that room for 2 weeks.
Was she feeding?
And when she does get on the elevator at the end, it does say 4 people, not 3. So it's like, I feel like she was alive. The main chunk of the episode is in one room. It doesn't feel overly expensive.
No.
It feels like it would have been better served on a cheaper budget in the old season, and where we could have focused more on the whole Mexican standoff thing. I know you really liked it, and again, I really liked it.
I liked it for this.
I feel like we didn't use it enough.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, it's the first good hook this maybe shooty run has ever had. Like when you think about previous runs.
I mean, like Boom standing in the landmine. That's fun.
Yeah, it feels like Russell of this, the showrunner and the writer, seems to just not be as wild or creative as maybe he was in his initial run.
Yeah.
In terms of the writers he's bringing in, and we're told, because it's Disney, he should have this amazing budget. And instead, you're just finding twice now.
And Robot Revolution was 3 rooms.
And not many extras.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because we've got an expensive back half, who knows, but...
Probably is, but it's weird. The main thing is the tension of what's behind her. I think the build up to that was really well done. I think the first something behind her was a bit too quick. I don't know how many people noticed that.
I didn't notice it.
Well, apart from like the giant crescendo in music.
Yeah.
So it's like, is it made for us to skip back and rewatch? I don't know. The second time was better, but I think it's mainly the way they shot it. So the framing, right? Your eyes are looking down here, and then they cut to someone up here. So your eyes have to flick, and by the time your eyes get to that side of the screen, the person is gone. Whereas if they had done something like center framing, you would have already been looking at the person. And then when they cut, you're still staring there.
Yeah.
It's a big thing with action movies, especially, is like they don't want you to go, like your eyes shouldn't be doing this in a good action scene. Everything should be flowing.
Yeah.
But because I can rewind, I rewatched and I was like, there was something behind her. That's creepy. And then they do it quite well later on. But we've got a very simple episode at its core.
Yes.
It is a bunch of people pointing a gun at a girl because they think there's something behind her. She can prove there's nothing behind her, but they keep seeing something behind her. And after the 26-minute mark, it all falls apart for me because they cram midnight into it for one, which the doctor makes as this big revelation. He's like, oh, it's that creature. Doesn't act the same, doesn't function in any way the same. It helps him in no way, apart from he now knows the thing behind her bad.
Yeah, it is a shame that it isn't, because wasn't it that it was trying to take him over and he
Yes.
was the most powerful one there?
Yeah, it needed a body and it found one.
So then, yeah, you could have had all sorts of fun things where he's trying to figure it out, he's talking to it, then it's almost like a Chris Eccleston realises it's a Dalek and his reaction is to get me out, get me out. Imagine he finds someone, hey, I'm here to help you, then he just says the fate, hey, I'm here to help you. He's like, oh, fuck.
It's not even really a successor in that fact, because it doesn't have the same effect. We get all the tension at the start, but it's not the same tension of... The Doctor in this has a line, it's what it turns you into.
Yeah.
After everyone dies in that kind of hilarious sequence, the captain kills the defector guy. She says, he made me do it, I had to. And then he says, it's what it turns us into, which is referencing everyone turning on each other in the Midnight Carriage, where that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's people devolve, it's monkeys. We're all fucking idiots and we're devolving.
Out of paranoia.
Whereas in this, that doesn't happen. People panic for like 2 seconds, because if the Midnight Entity could have gone behind other people, it would have been more interesting, because then you wouldn't know who it's on. And it's just how people devolve, because we meet them all in advance of the problem. So while David Tennant's just talking to everyone in the carriage, he talks to everyone, we get their personalities, and then we get to see how they interact when there's a problem. Whereas in this, we don't really meet anyone. We get the captain, and we get the defector. They're the only people really actually meet. And then we get a little bit of Mo. She's nice. She's fun. So we kind of have 3 people I can work with, and then we have like a thug guy, and then everyone else is cannon fodder. So it's not as in-depth as having like the amount of characters in Midnight.
Yeah.
You have a lot of characters in Midnight that all feel pretty well fleshed out, whereas here, everyone is very stereotyped. And I'm like, you don't have that constant build of tension. It really does hit 26 minutes, and then everyone's kind of pointing guns at Alice.
Yeah.
I think, again, if it moved from person to person, maybe you could have the more Mexican standoff. You know, the premise is kind of weird of the way it kills, when Belinda has to pick up trash and like show you on the ground, hey, if you walk directly behind it, even though there is a multiple cone of people, so like it doesn't...
It's a midnight clock.
Oh god, I hated that line.
The alien doesn't think of it like
they're saying if you can see it, it'll kill you. But the way it kills you is hilarious.
Yeah, because it flings you. Yeah. Very strange. But and it breaks all your bones.
Yes.
Breaks every part of you.
That's landing shatters all your bones.
Or like it breaks you on the fly. It's like,
That's what I mean. It's like, why? I've seen people say like, oh, you can't just have them walk behind it and they go, oh, and they die because it's a PG show.
Yeah.
But I'm like, we've done horrific things in this show. The Vashta Narada, they eat people in the suit and then you just have a skull. Like, that's very obvious what's happened there. So surely in this, you could have it so that the person walks behind. Once they're eclipsed, they crumple and then they fall out the other side. All you have to do is show a body fall.
Yes.
That's not violent. And that would have been like, oh God. But in this, it's like, it's the bad guy that yeets you because you can see it. And that plays into the finale where the Doctor has his revelation that what's the thing behind the thing? Why? He thinks the monster will kill itself if it's behind it.
Because it sees itself, so therefore it has to kill itself.
Why would it do that? It's not a weeping angel. This isn't Blink, Russell.
It did kind of devolve in the end, yes.
They set it up perfectly with the weeping angels looking at
they're both living things, so they both look at each other.
If any of them unfreeze, they'll see each other and then they'll freeze. And it's like, cool, we can't, like, clever. Whereas in this, it's like, if the monster sees itself, it'll yeet itself, and then that'll get it off the back of Alice. And they convolutedly get to this because it broke all the mirrors in the place, because it didn't want to see itself. But how would it see itself if they turned around? Weird, but like, again, they said mirrors, and the whole time, I think 6 or 7 times, they say that it's a mercury drop line, which a drop line in a mine is basically what you use to get the thing you're mining up.
Right.
So why they're using mercury? Because it's reflective. That's why, because Russell needed something reflective. So he makes a curtain, and it sees itself and throws Alice forward, which is stupid as hell, honestly. I hated that so much. That also means that it's not doing this by choice.
Yeah.
It yeets you when you see it as like a natural defense mechanism. So the Doctor thinks that it's a cold-blooded killer. He calls it a cold-hearted killer multiple times.
Yes.
But if putting a mirror behind it makes it yeet itself, that means this is a natural defense mechanism that it has that kills people. So it's not actually trying to kill people.
Yeah, because then it's reacting.
Yeah, why does the doctor hate it?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this porcupine is stinging everyone that grabs it. It's a bastard.
Yeah.
So then that yeets Alice forward. She gets caught. Not all her bones broken, because I guess all the bones in the Midnight Creature got broken. Then they all run. A troop of 16 and 17 get into the elevator with Alice. And the elevator goes up because Alice is free now, we've decided. Alice is no longer connected to the beast.
Safe.
And then it says on the thing, if you're quick enough, because it's a quick shot, but it does say 4 occupants instead of 3, even though there's only 3 people in there. So they did send up the Midnight Entity. But, that's weird as shit, because 30 seconds earlier, while they're running down the corridor, the doctor stops and says, wait, I want to see it. And then he looks back. And it's not that we don't see anything. We see a creature.
Yeah. So it couldn't have attached to him because it would have been with him.
Yeah. So the creature comes out and is like, oh. So we see the creature there. And then we've also seen the creature go up in the elevator. So there's now 2 creatures. There is no way around there not being one creature. There is 2 creatures because it also goes up in the thingamabob.
Or he just doesn't care.
As in Russell?
Just doesn't care. And there's one creature.
I think, yes.
Shut the fuck up.
He might be very confused while writing this, and he's like, just writing whatever. Because, that goes up there, and I'm like, what the fuck?
So then her killing herself is for nothing.
Correct. Well, no, because there's 2 creatures.
Well, in your little head to make it make sense, sure there is, but there's nothing that alludes to
this doesn't even come across the theory to me, this is at least on the screen, because then they get to that thing.
Yeah.
Alice has been sent up with maybe the creature on her back, but then we're all in the room. They all get shunted. Like, for some reason, it half yeets them.
Yeah.
And they're all like, whoa, that was weird. And the doctor's like, no, we can't go. Cool. So it's in the room with us now. It's on one of us.
Yeah.
They all decide that it's not on them. And then Belinda says, it is on me. I can hear the whispering. So that means it's definitely on Belinda, unless she's made that up. If there's one creature, she's made that up and she can't hear it whispering.
I don't know about, okay.
And then they've decided that shooting Belinda almost to death will make the creature pass to the shooter.
Yeah.
You were saying whether it's intelligent or not.
Yeah.
It should know Belinda isn't dead. They literally just said, like, in the open, I'm going to not kill her so that it passes to me.
Okay, but I feel like this is all indicative of, sadly, the era in this new Russell era where he's simply struggling to end ideas. Like, he's struggling to wrap them up in a good way.
Moffat always struggled to end his concepts, but it was still more satisfying somehow.
It's because he never knew when to stop with his concepts.
Keep building.
They still were fun, but he just kept building on them. Where with this, it's like a fairly simple story, really. It feels like the reason why it's midnight is because they wanted a revelation point. Like they wanted, because they didn't have much else. Like it's just, as you said, Mexican standoff in a room.
Nothing.
I might be okay with this being a bit of nothing if our main characters were more fun and engaging. But then that is an excuse, because there's been plenty of Doctor Who where it's been cool concepts, cool questions, and great character work all happening at once. I mean, you talking about the cloning episode back in the Matt Smith stuff. So good.
Yeah.
And it's just sitting there in season 6. And like,
it's a 2-parter at least.
Yeah, it's a 2-parter where in this, it's like, I don't know, I'm just left going, have to be conscious that it maybe just isn't for me anymore, that I'm just not liking this version of Doctor Who, and that's okay. But I still do think this is the strongest episode of Ncuti's run.
I still agree, despite how angry it makes me.
But it's not saying much.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the backhanded compliment angle of it. Yeah. It's saying, it's like the best Wheel of Time episode. It's like, okay, it's like, you're the best of the worst.
It's like, good job, guys.
Good job. Okay, this was the most engaged they've been in a Doctor Who story when Ncuti was the main character. The best episode of this run was David and Donna on the blue ship.
Good job.
The big finale thing where, because Belinda gets shot through the chest, it transfers to the captain. There's a wind gust. So unless they're really fucking lying to us, it's on her now. And then she gaps it, commits seppuku.
And she does it down at the hole so it can't leach onto anyone.
Yeah, it goes back to where it came. But it got out of the well. But anyway, she goes down the well because the Admiral killed herself in that other episode.
Yeah.
It was so much better in that one, especially because it was a shock at the end. Like, you think she finally escaped, and then she does it, and you're like, oh my God. And then the Doctor's like, oh, I fucked up.
Yeah.
And he learns a lesson, whereas with this, it's kind of just like, he runs after her, screams no, cries. And then we get our ending piece, which is Mo is back up on the ship.
Yeah.
And the Doctor and Belinda are safe. Mo is talking to goddamn Mrs. Flood, because we needed that again. It's annoying because she's a space captain, exactly like Sutek was.
Yeah, why are they
in that
doing?
Sutek
Why
one.
are they doing the Sutek stuff just with?
He loves old women just popping up in
Yeah, but
things.
it's the same thing again.
And it wasn't good last time.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Yeah.
And what they call the Rav?
The Rani.
Yeah, they reckon it's that.
People are saying that, and because we're redoing the same storyline from last season with the gods again, with no, like the killing the god of death didn't solve anything. So now all we're doing is because they dusted the entire universe.
Yeah, these 2 seasons might as well just be one big season of 16 episodes.
Sutek dusted everything,
Yeah.
which was destroying the world. This season, the reality thing is destroying the world. So it's like it's an identical everything
Well,
down to
David's
the old
always
woman.
that though, right? All his season finales of the world being taken over, destroyed, moved to a different solar system. They're all the same.
I feel at least they're different ways of doing that, whereas this is literally a god is like melting everything. Belinda is safe, Belinda as well. And then Mo talks to her friend and she's like, wow, it sucked down there. And she like looks over her shoulder and she's like, what? And then she's like, I thought I saw something. It's good that it escaped, I guess, because it's like a haha. But it kind of went on for too long for me.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm just nitpicking.
No, it's look, you're right.
Because like they just like hold on the frame of her.
Yeah, it did devolve a bit towards the end, which is the same for Lux, right? They both
Yeah.
started off well, devolved a bit. You're like, okay, that's pretty good, but I'm not going to be like remembering this as fondly as I remember Fireplace Man.
Literally just watch Midnight.
All of Matt Smith's season 5, like, which is just great. I mean, the fucking Van Gogh episode, like the season 5 of Doctor Who is arguably the strongest one of this era, arguably. Like, it's so strong. But then with this poor guy, like, you think it's an open goal, like new season, new face, new everything. And I think the mistake was bringing back Russell, honestly. I think it sounded great. I don't think he's done fantastic. I'm just kind of disappointed it's all penned by him. The thing I love about his era was he brought in so many interesting writers.
Yeah.
That's same with Moffat, but they haven't this time.
Whereas with this one, because it's only 8. And it's such a strong, I need to do my storyline. Like, so it seems like,
A
he's
big,
kind of
powerful through line.
Yeah, like even with Sharma Walful, who like came up with a cool idea. Again, it's not the most original thing I've ever
Yeah,
seen, but it could be a cool idea. Yeah, so let us know what you thought of The Well and whether it is anywhere close to Midnight. I know people liked it. We also liked it. You liked it a lot.
7, 8 out of 10.
I probably made you a little bit more negative during my rants, but that's always going to happen. So say positive things as well. Make Stephen like the episode more again.